Welcome back. It's been exactly 1 week since Election Day, and as President-elect Donald Trump picks key members of his administration, we're getting a clearer picture of how he won voters that recent Republican candidates could not. NBC's Steve Kornacki breaks it all down at the big board.
Well, Donald Trump, not only the president-elect, but also on pace to win the national popular vote. First time in 2 decades a Republican has done that. And he's going to win the popular vote because he's expanded demographically the Republican coalition. The coalition that elected Trump in this election, it is younger, it's more blue-collar, and it's more diverse than any Republican coalition really in modern political history. I mean, take a look at this. Before Trump came along, you see pre-Trump on the screen here. That means the last presidential election when Donald Trump wasn't a candidate. That would be 2012, 12 years ago. So this is what the landscape looked like pre-Trump. In the 2012 presidential election, voters under 30, the youngest group, were an overwhelming Democratic constituency by 23 points. Incomes under $50,000 a year, overwhelmingly Democratic, 22 points. Voters without a college degree, they were Democratic by 4 points. That's pre-Trump. Now, after this election, here's what these same groups look like. That margin for Democrats under 30 slashed basically in half. Voters under 50,000 have now swung all the way over to Republicans by 3 points. Trump's margin 3 points over Harris. Among voters with incomes under $50,000 and no degree, look at that. Now a 14-point Republican advantage. Also, on racial and ethnic lines, big shifts too. Take a look at this. Black voters before Trump, overwhelming Democratic constituency, to put it mildly, at 87%. And black voters still are, but that's a 15-point drop for Democrats from 87 down to 72. Here's where you really see it. Hispanic voters, pre-Trump, a 44-point margin for Democrats. In this election, just 6 points. Harris over Trump. Asian American voters, too. Look at this. Before Trump, a 47-point margin for Democrats. That's a 32-point reduction down to just 15 in this election. So that coalition, when you look at how the share of the non-white vote that Trump was able to get, what share of his overall vote non-white voters accounted for, that is the most diverse Republican coalition that we've seen in, I say, modern political times. The consequence of that, too, is you take a look at outside the battleground where Trump made some of his biggest gains. They were in states like New Jersey and New York and California, big blue states. He didn't win any of them, but he made big gains because of this kind of a shift. And meanwhile, as this has happened to the Republican Party under Donald Trump, here's what's happened to the Democratic Party, sort of the opposite movement we're seeing. Look, among white voters, both pre-Trump and now, overall Republican group, the margin was 20 points before Trump for Republicans among white voters, down to 16 now. And that doesn't look like too much, but white voters are about 70% almost of the electorate. So a 4-point drop, that's actually pretty significant. 4-point shift toward the Democrats is what that's telling you. College-educated voters, look at this. Democrats were, it was basically a tie. Democrats had a very slight advantage before Trump. Now it's a big Democratic advantage. And higher income earners. Before Trump, Republicans by 10 points. Now, Harris won them by 5 points last week. So, again, shifts in the two-party coalitions here. One that allowed Donald Trump to win the popular vote in this election. And also it leaves the electorate overall. This is interesting. After now 3 presidential elections of Donald Trump leading the Republican ticket, overall, this is a less polarized, racially polarized electorate than it was pre-Trump.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.